Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina, back with a quick card for you today. It's been a while since I've just done a video just to make a card, so I thought I would just do one for you today. Just to give you a little background on something. I was in a meeting today at work, and my husband was running the meeting, and for those of you who don't know, Scott and I work together at our local library, and we've worked together for 20 some years and married for 16. So I was doodling during his meeting that he was running, and he had a PowerPoint printout of the PowerPoint of the meeting that he was doing. And I always doodle whenever I'm in meetings. I'm doodling, and I took one of the PowerPoint slides that he showed and ended up making a sketch out of it when I got home. So I just pulled out my sketchbook and I did a quick sketch. So this kind of was inspired by a PowerPoint presentation. So my card base is Stampin' Up! Cardstock. It's called Primrose Petal, and that's this one right here. I showed this in a recent haul video. And what I did was, and you're probably not going to be able to see it, I didn't show this on the video, or I wasn't going to show this on the video because originally when I started to make this card I wasn't going to film it. But I took my paper tray ink canvas and textured plate and ran it through and gave my cardstock, and I don't know if you can see that at all, but there's a little bit of a canvas texture now to my cardstock. So I went ahead and did that, and then I'm using paper from the My Mind's Eye collectible. This one's called Unforgettable, and I'm using this paper pad for my card today. So I cut out some of my papers. I'm going to use this little pattern here along with the stripe, and then I have this pink one here. So I'm going to trim these down. My card base is 5.5 by 4 1/4, so I'm going to trim these down to be just a little bit longer than 4 1/4, just so I know that I've got enough going across the front of my card. And then I have this piece right here that is cut down to 1 inch, and I haven't decided how long this is going to be yet, but this is going to be what's going to be from my sketch, the little tab that hangs down. So I am going to go ahead and cut that, and to do that I just take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut a little slit in the middle, and then from each corner go right to that little slit that I cut. And that's what gives the nice little banner edge that, you know, is very popular now. So that's going to go right down here. So I'm going to take my Antique Linen Distress ink, and I am going to go ahead and ink the edges of my pattern paper here. Alright, so I have all of my edges inked up. I'm going to go ahead and start putting my pattern paper down. And this is going to go right across the top of my card. And then we'll put our other piece on. And that's going to go right across here. And now that I trimmed that off a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and ink it again. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is kind of decide how long this banner is going to be. So I think it's going to be about that long. And I'm going to go in and adhere that directly down. And then we'll trim off the top of it. And then once again, we'll just add a little ink to the top. Okay, So the next thing I want to do is add my sentiment down here. I'm going to be using the You Brighten My Day from a Lawn Fawn stamp set. This is the Summertime Charm stamp set. So we're going to do the You Brighten My Day, and I'm going to do some white embossing on this. So I'm just going to line this up on my stamp press, because if you're like me, I am not very good at stamping in a straight line. So I am going to go ahead and do my white embossing. I'm going to use this little embossing buddy. There's also the EK Success has a embosser too, and what that does is just helps keep the white embossing powder from sticking to anything except for my Versamark ink. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this up. We're going to stamp that right down the bottom. And then we'll use our white embossing powder. I'm just going to grab a sheet of scrap paper here, just in case I get it everywhere except for where I want it. And then I will use my heat tool to melt the embossing powder. Alright, so I have my sentiment all done, and now I'm going to just add some final touches. I have some buttons from, I believe this is from a My Mind's Eye collection, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'm just trying to decide, do I want to go right with the button, or do I want to add... I think what we're going to do is I'm going to add a couple pieces to this. So there's some chipboard buttons in here as well as some solid buttons. So let me go grab a piece of twine. I want to add some twine to this. Alright, while I was looking for my twine, I totally changed my mind on my button. So I'm just going to add a button right to the top. And I'm going to go ahead and thread my twine here. And then before I adhere this down, or before I tie my bow, I'm going to go ahead and take a glue dot and adhere this down. It'll just give my button something to be anchored to while I'm tying my bow. And the last thing I want to do is I'm going to take this Martha Stewart butterfly punch, and I have a little piece of scrap left over of my pattern paper, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut out some little butterflies. And I'm going to use some glossy accents, or actually we'll just use our quick dry glue. And then we'll add some of our little butterflies. Alright, I added my butterflies, and then I have some enamel dots from the Collectibles collection. And I'm just going to take my little pokey tool. And I thought I would add one of these little enamel dots to each of the butterflies. And there we go. That is my card for today. A little bit of an inspired card by a PowerPoint presentation. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. I'll have a picture of my completed card at the end, as well as the supplies I used listed over on my blog if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.